Jack Miller has admitted that Yamaha quite literally saved his MotoGP career, and in doing so has given him something he never truly felt during his difficult spell with KTM. The Australian rider arrived at the end of the 2024 season staring into the abyss. After 2 competitive years at Ducati, where race wins and podiums were regular, his move to KTM proved far more challenging. Across 2 seasons in Austria, Miller managed just a single podium, and a 14th place championship finish in 2024 left his future in serious doubt. For a rider once considered among the sport's elite, the prospect of leaving MotoGP altogether was very real. But Primac's bold decision to sign Miller for 2025, coinciding with their new technical partnership with Yamaha, offered him a crucial lifeline. It was by all accounts a prove-yourself contract. On paper, Miller's 2025 campaign was far from impressive. He finished 17th in the standings with just 79 points. His worst result since 2016. Consistency was elusive and podium challenges were rare. However, results alone fail to tell the full story. Behind the scenes, Miller became a key figure in Yamaha's ambitious V4 engine project. His technical feedback, experience, and ability to articulate the bike's behavior played a major role in helping the Japanese manufacturer make genuine progress. Crucially, Miller believes the Yamaha FR4 has given him something he never had at KTM: confidence in low-grip conditions and a wider operating window with the rear tyre. The Pramac rider described the Yamaha as phenomenal when track conditions are less than ideal. When the surface has low grip and others are struggling with the rear tyre, we can show better performance, Miller explained. Because we don't rely so heavily on the soft rear like some others, we don't suffer as much when it's not available. This, he says, is where Yamaha stands in stark contrast to his KTM experience. During his time with the Austrian manufacturer, Miller repeatedly struggled with rear-end feel, particularly under braking. Without the soft rear tyre, the bike became unpredictable, and stopping power suffered. If you don't have that softer setup, it almost feels like someone is just grabbing the brakes for you, he said. You can't use the rear of the bike to help slow it down properly. This lack of feedback made KTM highly sensitive to tyre choice and track conditions. Some weekends the bike worked great, the next it was terrible. For a rider like Miller who thrives on confidence and adaptability, that inconsistency was devastating. Yamaha, by comparison, appears to offer a more forgiving platform, particularly when grip levels drop. While the V4 project is still in development, Miller feels its performance window is already more predictable. When others can't use the soft rear, that's when we're stronger, he said. The 2026 season will be a crucial learning year for Yamaha. The V4 engine is still evolving, and Miller's primary role remains focused on development rather than chasing headline results. From a pure sporting perspective, this may come at the cost of personal success. Miller's season could once again look underwhelming on paper. Not because of a lack of effort, but because Yamaha's priorities lie in long-term competitiveness rather than short-term glory. Yet time is not on Miller's side. His contract expires at the end of 2026, and competition for MotoGP seats is as fierce as ever. With the 2027 regulation cycle approaching, Yamaha must decide who they want to build their future around. Miller now finds himself in what many consider his final window in the Premier class. Rumours suggest Pramac are already evaluating Enea Bastianini as a possible replacement, while Aprilia are also monitoring the rider market closely. For Miller, this means every point, every performance, and every piece of feedback matters. He must remain close to Yamaha's lead riders, contribute meaningfully to development, and, most importantly, show that he still belongs at the highest level. There is no doubt that Yamaha rescued Jack Miller from the brink. Without Pramac's faith and Yamaha's V4 project, his MotoGP story might already have ended. what Miller has discovered with Yamaha. Confidence in low grip conditions, better rear-end feel, and a more consistent working window is something he never truly found at KTM. But gratitude alone will not secure his future. As MotoGP enters a new era of technical evolution, Miller must prove that he is not just a valuable development rider, but still a competitive force. The next 2 seasons may well define whether his career continues or quietly comes to a close. Beyond the technical side, Miller's presence has also brought stability to Yamaha's rider group. His experience across multiple manufacturers, Honda, Ducati, KTM, and now Yamaha, gives him a rare perspective on how different philosophies shape a MotoGP bike. That knowledge has helped Yamaha refine not just the engine, but also the way the bike delivers power, manages traction, and behaves in race trim. Yamaha's engineers are particularly focused on making the V4 less demanding for riders over long race distances. Unlike the previous inline 4, which relied heavily on corner speed, the new concept must balance braking stability, acceleration, and tyre life. Miller's feedback has been instrumental in identifying areas where the bike overheats the rear tyre or loses performance late in races. There is also a psychological element to Miller's resurgence. After 2 difficult seasons at KTM, confidence was fragile. At Yamaha, even without strong results, he feels more in control of the bike's behavior. That sense of predictability allows him to push closer to the limit rather than riding defensively to avoid mistakes. However, MotoGP is ultimately a results-driven sport. Development value can only protect a rider for so long. While Yamaha appreciate Miller's input, they also need proof that he can still fight inside the top 10 when the bike improves. Young talent is constantly knocking on the door, and manufacturers are under pressure to invest in riders with long-term potential. The 2026 season could therefore become a turning point. As Yamaha's V4 matures, expectations will rise. Miller will no longer be judged solely on how well he helps build the bike, but on how effectively he can race it. Strong qualifying performances, consistent points finishes, and visible racecraft will be essential. Internally, Yamaha are aware that continuity matters. Changing riders too often can disrupt development momentum. If Miller can show steady progress alongside technical contribution, he strengthens his case to remain part of the project beyond the current contract.